Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Bhadram Karnebihi Shrunuyama Deva Bhadram Pashe Makshabhiryajatra Sthirairankai Shrushruvanam Swastanubihi Yashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedah Swasti na Staksho Arishtanebihi Swasti no Brihaspati'r Dadatu Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namah Hari Om. I think we have done till.
We are going to do last.
Correct. Up to 12th we have read actually.
Yeah.
Second question answers. Query number 2. 12th we have actually read. So as what we have seen is there are 2-3 words which were kind of important or different. In verse 11, we have seen something called Vratya. The Vratya word has been translated by Gurudev as unbaptized one. Yeah? Means one to whom the samskaras are not done. So for normally every person who is born in our culture, we do certain samskar, Shodasha samskaras that we all go through. But in this particular case, the prana is being told that he is a Vratya, means unbaptized. No samskara is done. So it's not really what we saw was, it is not really anything wrong in terming prana as Vratya, because Shankaracharya gave 2 different discourses. One reason why he told is that Vratya word is used for prana because there is nothing in prana to be purified. Why do you samskara? Samskaras are done to purify a particular jiva. So in case of prana, obviously, there is nothing to be purified. He is already a pure being. So for him, there is no purification required. So he becomes a Vratya from that perspective. Second thing what was told is, normally any samskaras are done by the parents. So the parents are the one who will do for the children these samskaras, and the Brahmin will come, he will read, etc., etc. The samskaras will go on for a particular this one. Except for the Antya samskara, somebody else will do this one. But anyway, thing is, in case of prana again, because there are no parents for prana, he is the firstborn. He is the firstborn, so nobody is there for him to do any samskaras for that. So Shankaracharya says there is no requirement or there is no need for doing, because there is no parent for prana. He is the firstborn. He will do for everything that is born afterwards, but for him there is nobody else who need to be do or not to be done, or he is nobody is there to do that particular this one. So he becomes a Vratya. What we have seen is this particular thing is a poetic one also, in terms of telling this is called a Ninda Stuti. It appears as if somebody is doing a Ninda by calling him Vratya, but this is called a Ninda Stuti. It is part of the poetry which is done. For example, I gave was in Rama's time, they used to say that there is no Data at all in Rama's time. It may appear as if somebody is doing a Ninda to Rama, telling that his rule is so bad that there is nobody to give anybody to any. Data means one who is a giver. There are no givers at all in Rama's this one. Really speaking, his kingdom his rule was so good, there are no takers. Everybody has so much money that there is no need for anybody to be a Data. So it's a Ninda Stuti. So it's a part of the poetry that is called. Yeah? We have seen this particular one. And another one we have seen is Ekarshi. In same verse 11, Ekarshi is a term that is used. This Ekarshi is a kind of a sacred fire. And Ekarishi, actually it is called Ekarishi. This Ekarishi is the 11 verse. Yeah? Ekarshi Atta. That is the word that is used. Vratyas Vyatrasvam Pranai Ekarshi Atta. That is how it is taken to here. So here, Ekarshi Atta, that meaning of that particular this one was, Ekarshi is or Ekarishi is the fire that is used in Atharvana Veda. Whenever they are doing some Yajna Yaga in Atharvana Veda, they use certain types of fires are there. For example, in other this ones, when you do yaga, there is something called, once the marriage is over, a house owner is supposed to start for himself what is called as Garhyapatyagni. This Garhyapatyagni is a continuous fire that is lit in the Vedic times in a householder's this one. And from that particular fire, all other fires are taken, kind of. So if you want a fire in the kitchen, you will take that particular this one. If you want to have a fire in for other yagas that you are doing, that house owner will take the fire from this Garhyapatyagni. And Garhyapatyagni is supposed to be continuously there in every house. And if they are going on a pilgrimage or something, then there are rituals associated with how this Garhyapatyagni will be carried by the householder. Or he will have to give it to somebody to take care of that particular. So there are certain associated rituals with this. So they are all sacred fires, so to say. There's something called Dakshinagni. So there are many types of fires which are there. So Ekarshi is a very specific fire for Atharvana Veda. And Prashnopanishad is a Atharvana Veda, this one. So it is being named here. Yeah. For example, in Mundakopanishad, there is this one which is referred to as the only Agni is told. The name is not given, but we said Prashnopanishad is a Brahmanopanishad for the Mundakopanishad, which is a Mantropanishad. The introduction that we have told like that. So this particular thing is being named here as Ekarshi. So Ekarshi fire, very specific to the Atharvana Veda. Okay. Another one was Atta, the word that is used, the third, Ekarshi Atta. So this Atta word is, we have seen, is referred to as a eater. So Surya, for example, is an Atta. And all other aspects where he is going around and giving the energy to the earth, etc., they become the eaten. In the sense that eater and eaten is a concept which is built into this Upanishad through and through. Eater and eaten. Atta, Atra, and Annam. Annam is the eater. Atra is the, Atra is the eater. Annam is the eaten. So anything higher or subtler becomes an eater. Grosser becomes an Annam. Yeah, conceptually I'm telling. These are some words which are very specific to this Upanishad. That's why I'm trying to highlight them. Yeah. So this Atta word is used for that particular, this one in 11. So here we have seen that this means that Ratya, unbaptized one, Ekarshi, consumer of everything. Why this Atta came immediately after Ekarshi is here, the oblation that is being given is offered to Agni. It is to the Agni, the offer is there. Suppose in your Yajna, the oblation is to Indra. Then Agni becomes a courier. He won't eat. He will give it to Indra. Is a courier service where he once in that particular yajna, whoever is the devata where this particular ahuti is being given, the Agni will become a courier service. Whereas here, he himself is the Atta. That is being told as he himself being the eater. So he doesn't carry it anywhere. He consumes the ahuti that is being given.
I have a question, but this is part of the Surya Stuti. So the Agni is being equated to Surya.
No, Prana is equated to
Prana
Surya.
is equated to Surya.
This is not Agni Stuti, Prana Stuti.
No, Surya Stuti, right?
Surya is Prana.
Surya is Prana.
We have seen in the first verse, this one,
Rai.
where we said Prana and Rai,
Right.
and Prana is equated to Surya, Rai is equated to Moon, like that. Yeah. So continuity of the thought is always maintained in these things. Okay. And 12th verse if you see here, we have read, I think, the 12th verse already. Yeah. Yate tanurvachi pratishtita ya shrotra ya cha chakshushi ya cha manasi santata shivam tam kuru matkrumi. Means ma utkrami. No, actually ma utkrami. Means don't go up. So don't go away. Don't go away, you please hold back. Because the story started with prana is as if he is about to leave the body and go. So ultimately now they are coming back and telling, after doing the stuti, these people are coming and telling, please don't go out. But most important of this particular verse is, this is equivalent to Om Bhadram Karnevi. Whether you have noticed or not, in Bhadram Karnevi Shrunuyama Devaha, what we said is, everything auspicious, only let it my ears hear. Only auspicious thing, let my eyes see. So that is how we have actually seen. So this prana that we are talking about here is being elevated to such a level here, where that prana is not really limited to your individual prana that we think I am alive, means there is a prana which is a product of my mind. That is how we normally assume ourselves to be as a jiva. Means my own prana is there, my prana goes away. If it is common prana, everybody's prana should go away. If it is one entity, so my prana is there, my prana goes away, I am dead. Well, others are all living. So that is how we normally think that prana is an individual thing. Like the feeling that we had before, that individually my body is alive and all other bodies are alive. And because of that, I say that I am different from each one of you. So in question 1, while dealing with the gross aspects of the creation, the concept of Vaishvanara was introduced. To say that it is same Vaishvanara. You may think you are different from this, that Vaishvanara uses individual bodies as only a instrument. Suppose I have a flute, I have a harmonium, I have a veena, for example. I am the user. Okay, I am using these instruments to produce music. Now it's up to me whether I will, if it is possible, that I will play all the instruments together, or I will withdraw from one. I will keep it there, I will do something else, I will put it something. So like that, this Vaishvanara is the user of all the bodies. So you may think that Veena might think that it is having its own this one, but no, user is different, you are only an instrument. So your body losing the prana means prana is no longer using you as an instrument. He has just dropped it and went away. So Vaishvanara is that prana. It was introduced in this one to say that Vaishvanara remains same. Individual body is there as an instrument. So to say that minus that is associated with the body is really not minus. This is only an instrument. I am that Vaishvanara. Similarly here, the concept of prana at a samashti level, totality level is being talked about. Prana is not only individual, it is also samashti. So it is not only vyashti, it is also samashti. And that particular prana is being told to say, Tanurvachi pratishtita, make my auspicious thy body, which abides in the speech, in the ear. So similarly, what we were trying to say is that particular senses that we are talking about, those senses are not individual for you. They are also instruments of that prana. And this prana is not only vyashti, like Vaishvanara, it is also a samashti prana. This samashti prana is nothing but Hiranyagarbha. We have seen already. Yeah? So Hiranyagarbha or Prajapati, they are one and the same, synonyms. So that Hiranyagarbha or Prajapati uses this, or total mind, as we call as Hiranyagarbha. The total mind is nothing but this prana. Prana is being viewed as that particular totality level, and says, let that particular prana make my eyes auspicious, my ears auspicious, my actions auspicious. So all 5 Jnanendriyas, all 5 Karmendriyas, let them be auspicious, everything be, so that I will only see goodness in my view of this universe. That is how the 12th one is being says, and also which pervades the mind. To say that this particular mind that I am talking as individual, so not only my senses, but the mind. It says also which pervades the mind. please do not go away. So it is been recognized that this prana is the totality of the Hiranyagarbha. And that Hiranyagarbha is the one who is pervading. Once he pervades the mind, mind is a unifying factor for the senses. Mind is a unifying factor for the senses. How do I know? So when I bring a rose in front of me, I see the redness of the rose with my eyes. I will feel the softness of the petals with my hand or touch, and I will smell. Yeah, I can even taste, for example. So all that I'm able to see and hear, possibly if it becomes a dry, for example. But all of those senses are individual. That pramana is individual. If eye is taking in red color, it is taking in red color only. It is not taking the other sense objects into me. But once I go inside, mind is the unifying factor where the composite nature of the rose is being felt. How I am seeing the everything, I don't see separately this. I don't say it is a smelly rose or a soft rose. The entire concept will come into as one rose in my mind. So mind becomes a unifying factor. So every sense that I am seeing here, I am hearing, whatever the Jnanendriya or Karmendriya, everything will go inside my mind and it unifies and give me a composite experience. And that particular thing is nothing but prana. To say that every senses that are there, they are not independently operating. They require the blessings of the prana for them to act in a particular way. Yeah. So that is how, so they are telling this prana and say, please don't go away. So they are telling that So essentially it is there, as I mentioned, this second chapter is completely prana stuti. Yeah, including actually third chapter also comes as a stuti, but in a different level. At a different level, it gives the prana stuti. But this is more related to a pranamaya kosha, which are linked with the basically senses. So pranamaya kosha is closely associated with the senses. So we are telling that pranamaya kosha, although I may feel individually, but it is much more than individual experience, and none of the senses can function without the blessing of the prana. Some power, and that power is...
In other words, it's all about consciousness.
Correct. In a way, it is consciousness. But at what level consciousness, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Again, there are various levels of consciousness.
One more question before you proceed. You said that prana has come first, right?
Right.
But we say that this was come first, ether. Now space has come first.
Prana has come before space.
Prana has come before space.
Yeah.
But according to our other, there was that first space came, only then other things came because the...
Hold on to that thought. Hold on to that thought. When the next question, next Sishya comes and asks the question, he is at your level maybe.
Okay.
So we will come to that. When answering that, when the next third question, when it comes, we will answer. Okay, hold on. Here, there is a brief reference to prana getting divided into divided, and it is supporting the body. Banam is the term that was used 2-3 verses before. There was a term called Banam. Banam is the body. Body can be subtle body. Body can be gross body. So this gross body, the prana divides itself into 5 as prana, apana, samana, vyana, udana, and it supports the body. In case of at a mental, at a senses level, these are called Agni. There the body is called, that particular division is called Vayus. They are the Vayu, and other one is Agni. So Agni at a mental level, they again divide into 5 and support the Jnanendriyas. Same prana does that. Thing is, if you really see our experiences is a waking state, a dream state, and deep sleep state. Or in other terms, gross body, subtle body, and causal body. These are the experiences we normally go through. But when we say experience, if you go into a bit of a understanding as to analysis as to which is the most important for me to have this experience. Normally what Shastra says, neither the consciousness nor the body bodies, so to say, subtle, gross, and causal, have got any ability to do any action by themselves. Does it make sense? Consciousness or the bodies by themselves don't have ability to do any action. Means consciousness by itself cannot do anything. It is conscious. That's all. Awareness, which is there, pure awareness. It requires a body for doing the action in this world and gaining the experience. But if there is no consciousness associated, none of these bodies again are, because they're inert. So the prana is providing that, or consciousness is providing that ability for the inert bodies to gain experience outside. But if you say out of these three bodies, which is the most important one in terms of gaining this experience, if you say in my deep sleep, mind is not there and the body is not there. But then I'm not able to do any action in my deep sleep. Correct? And body by itself cannot do any action. And when I come to then say that, then Sukshma Sarira seems to be the most important one in terms of providing that ability for the bodies to take action. Out of this, again, if you go into deeper analysis, what Shankaracharya says is that in deep sleep, your mind is gone. Your senses are not working. So senses are not important for in terms of this. But there is a prana which is there continuously even in your deep sleep. Prana functions. The fivefold prana functions even in your deep sleep. Actually, that prana is the one which is making this entire world as sentient. And that is the reason it is given a highest post as per this particular one, to say that it is because of prana, that because otherwise if prana is not there, suppose you are not breathing in the night, and in the morning, if somebody sees that he is not disposed of. Yeah. So because he is doing this, that prana is still going on, it is recognized. Not only recognized, it is because of that the sentiency is maintained and actions are possible. So Shankaracharya says prana is given that ability, that pedestal, because of this reason. Without that, sentiency is just not possible. So this fivefold division is just mentioned here. It didn't say what are those five, etc. Gurudev says the prana dividing itself into five distinct offices does its function of dynamism, the matter environment constituting the body. This will be gone into in detail in the next question. So next question will answer details of this. So this particular thing is more like a bridge between these two questions. Like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives something, he doesn't give fully, then Arjuna gets a question to ask, and it starts the next chapter. Yeah, many times we see that Arjuna Vacha, Bhagavan Vacha, he goes again. So this is similar. This particular verse is given and a hint is given to say that fivefold this one. So automatically second question will come as to what are the how it is happening. So he says that particular. Okay. Last verse in this particular chapter, we'll see here. Pranasyedam vache sharvam Ridive yat pratishtitam mateva putran rakshasva shrischa prajnam cha videhina iti dvitiya prashnaha. So means this is the end of question 2. This is the last verse in question. You only tell that. So here, tell whatever exists in the three worlds is all under the control of prana. Yeah? Pranasyedam vashe sarvam. It is the entire world are on the prana's vasha. Vasha means it is under the control of that prana. Is being told. So slightly till now we were talking of prana vis-a-vis me, individual. The whole question was an answer was with respect to me and prana, how it is related. Suddenly, it is being expanded. As I mentioned, from Vyashti, it is going to Samashti. From individual, it is going to totality. To say that whatever exists in the three worlds is under the control of Prana. So see the expansion of the thinking process of the student that Guru is trying to put in. Till now, he was answering the question for an individual perspective, but ending with that particular chapter, he says that Prana not only controls you, controls the entire three worlds. Three worlds can be Bhu, Bhuvar, Swa, that is possible. There are three which are there. Otherwise, the three worlds are the three experiences of the person: waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. Yeah, that is this one of it. Or subtle, gross, subtle, and causal worlds. Any of these three you can take, but it will cover. It's only a question of approach. These three will cover the entire universe or created universe, so to say. So entire Mithya Prapancha is being under the control of this Prana. Entire Mithya Prapancha is under the control of this Prana. What do we call, in other words, this controlling of this one? Maya. So a different word is being used, but it is telling that this entire three worlds are under the control of the Maya. O Prana, protect us like a mother. Protect Mateva Putran Rakshasva. Protect us like a mother. So Gurudev likes this one in a big way. He says that mother is the one who actually takes care of the needs of a child, unsaid needs of the child. So he's not being asked that you give social service like government or it is not like a father who will do what is asked for. Like a mother is the only character in this world who takes care of unsaid needs of the child. Child need not even say, need not even talk, but mother will know. This is the general idea to say that. So this Prana is being asked to protect us like a mother and give us prosperity and wisdom. So Prajna, Shrischa Prajna. Shri, wealth that we talk about, Shrischa, Shri, a very specific terminology that is used in Shastras. Shri is the one which defines wealth, no doubt about that. But wealth is not necessarily only the money or the gold or at that particular time, any of the silver, etc., gems, but it is more to do with the inner wealth. So we are talking of Prana controlling the three worlds. So we are really looking at the internal aspect of that, of our journey, in terms of understanding this Brahman. So Shrischa become the spiritual wealth a sadhaka requires. So when Guru says that give Shrischa, which is actually talking about the inner wealth of the six, you can say, Viveka Vairagya, Samadhamadishat Sampatti, Samadhamadishat Sampatti or Viveka Vairagya. You please give us that particular this one, because previous verse we have already seen. Only auspiciousness let it be there in my eyes, in my ears, etc. By doing that, what we are telling is that Shreyascha is the inner wealth of good qualities, both at the mental level, at the intellectual level, that I require to overcome this limitation that I'm seeing, feeling, and see that oneness of the prana, oneness of the gross bodies. So Vaishvanara should be very, very clear to me, as well as the prana as the controller of the three worlds should be clear. So Shreyascha becomes a more deeper meaning of wealth, not necessarily the wealth outside. And wisdom, automatically, how do we know that? Because next word is prajna. Prajna word is used for causal body. Prajna word is called for wisdom also. So wisdom is something, I think we discussed last time about jnana and vijnana. Tanuji asked me about that particular this one. Yeah. So this jnana vijnana, so this prajna becomes the wisdom. Wisdom was always, prajnana means there is a individual experience associated with wisdom, whereas if somebody's experience becomes jnana. Yeah, basically that's what. So prajna and shreyascha, purely it is spiritual wealth and the spiritual good qualities that we require, and let that wisdom be mine in order to recognize the nature of both at a gross level Vaishvanara, at a subtle level is Prana. Okay? So Prana is given the topmost pedestal till now. Yeah, we have seen this particular this. That is what the question 2 is ending there. Okay. Any questions as such?
What is this at birth for purification? We do the samskara. What samskara is that particular one? It's not naming samskara.
सभी वो होते हैं ना जो सारे पूजाएं अन्न प्राशन करते हैं और वो सारी चीजें जो करते हैं ना.
Actually, it starts with the mother when the child is in mother's womb.
वो गर्भ संस्कार.
संस्कार करते हैं.
So many संस्कार.
And then there is
I don't know. I just wanted to know whether whatever, because in different parts of India
Yeah.
we do different things. So I wanted to see why.
anyway, you can possibly Google Shodasa Samskar and see what all things are.
Okay.
Yeah, it includes even for men this one which is there.
Third ceremony.
Thread ceremony. For others, there are some other ceremonies. which are
So
there.
we do this too, but not at birth. We do. We are supposed to do. But we are supposed to.
Yeah,
but
Vachana.
now don't do the. We are supposed to do on 11th day.
Correct.
But these days it
Yeah.
gets postponed. So
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to know. To be the same.
holy bath.
Yeah.
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 So in question 2, what we have seen is that what sustains an individual are the 19 factors which we have seen. Yeah? 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, pancha prana, manaha buddhi. If you take chitta hankara 19, otherwise 17 factors which are there, which sustain this. But these are introduced as a 5 gross elements are the devatas which sustain these 19 factors. So introduction is not with 19 factors in this particular this one. It came with the 5 this ones and chakshuhu, shotram, so manaha. So these particular aspects were given to say that these 19 factors are sustained. And these are the devatas because the question was which factors sustain body. The 19 becomes body and the associated devatas were told instead of telling Indra, etc., the 5 elements are being introduced as this particular devatas. And they started glorifying themselves and prana came into picture and said that you are nothing, you are sustained, you have those powers only because of me and I am the one. They did not listen to that. And then they said, if they are not listening, prana said, okay, let me teach them a lesson. It's as if I am getting up and going. Yeah, Utkrantam iva. So iva word used, so it did not really go back. It threatened to go up and everybody was forced to go out of that particular body. And they recognized and they started stuti and recognized prana as that power because of which the power is given to the individual senses. So the senses doesn't have power on their own. The senses doesn't have the abilities there on their own. Everything is given by the prana from the behind. Okay. So in short, Swamiji says that this is samashti sukshma sharira, the shakti which is there. Samashti sukshma sharira. Samashti, vyashti samashti we have seen already. So Hiranyagarbha, another name for that particular this one is samashti sukshma sharira prana. Prana is nothing but samashti sukshma sharira. That is nothing but Hiranyagarbha. So glorifying the prana is over there. Now we'll go into third question has come into picture. So we have seen that there are certain names that are used in the query number 1, verse number 1. We are seeing that the list that is given there of the students, reverse way, these people started asking the questions. So, Sukesha cha Bharadvajaha, Shaibhyas cha Satyakamaha, Sauryayani cha Gargya, Kaushalyascha Ashwalayanu Bhargavo Vaidarbhi Kabandhi Katyayana. This is the list of people which was mentioned in first verse. So in this, the first question was asked by Kabandhi Katyayana. What we have seen the significance of that? Katyayana means somebody whose great grandfather is still alive. And Kabandha is some who is bound by. Bandha is bound by the universe, bound by the creation. It becomes a Kabandha. So here, what we are telling is, what say this time is telling is, Kabandhi Katyayana means that particular person, his mindset is completely in the cross world around. He's seeing people get dying, he's seeing the people getting birth. So his question naturally was, where from so many creatures are coming? That was what he asked. Yeah? Individuality, Annamaya Kosha, was addressed by the first students who comes Kabandhi Katyayana. Second one is Bhargavo Vaidarbhi. He asked the second question. What we have seen, Vaidarbha or Darbha is the grass that is used in this Yajna Yagas, etc. So he is the person who is now talking about slightly above the level of the first one, who is Kabandhi Katyayana. He is not bound by gross objects, but he is every day seeing that there are certain subtle things, elements that are there who are supporting, devatas who are there supporting the body being there. And how he knows? Because he has already gone through that karma kanda. So that is how that particular person is there, and he is known Vaidarbhi. That's the reason his name became Vaidarbhi. Bhargava is Bhrigu. So that particular persons who are established in Yajna Yagas, etc., is being indicated by the second name. We have seen that. Every name will have some kind of this one which is linked to the question that he asks. Yeah. So here is the person, Bhargava Vaidarbhi. He asked the question. Now let us see query 3. Atahainam Kaushalyascha Ashwalayana Ashwalayana Prapacha Bhagavan Kuta Esha Prano Jayate Katham Ayati Ashmin Sharire Atmanam Va Pratibhajya Pravibhajya Katham Pratishtate Kenotramate Katham Bahyam Abhidatte Katham Adhyatmam Iti. So Katham Adhyatmam Iti. So here the third person has come here. Atahainam. Atahainam, we have already seen that second person, second student asked his question. He was given a reply. Everybody is watching as such. Now he said, okay, I am very satisfied with the reply that is given. We should understand that. Atha indicates that he has now gone back into the last row and is now waiting for second person to ask. He did not go away. Everybody is still listening. That's why that is the understanding that we are trying to. The third person came forward. Third student came forward, and his name is Kaushalyascha Ashwalayana. Yeah? Prapacha, he asked that question. What did he ask? He said, O Bhagavan, oh sir, dear sir, from where is this prana born? Jayate means Gayani, Asani. Jayate, Ja indicates born. So from where is this prana born? So his question is now coming a bit more difficult in terms of he is asking about the cause of the prana. Now that you are telling absolutely prana is the one, that this one. So Mohaniji asked that question as to prana is not the firstborn. Yeah. There must be somebody who is responsible for this prana also, really speaking. Although you are telling by Ratya, etc., I don't believe you are right. So who is there? Where is it particular thing? Jayate, born, automatically there is a cause for the prana. He is not really firstborn, so to say. Okay? That question came here. How does he enter the body? How does he enter the body. Asmin Sharire. Yeah. Ayati Asmin Sharire. How did he come into this particular body? How does he dwell by dividing himself? Means essentially, okay, you are telling that he has divided into 5. Tell me how exactly he is getting divided. So that particular question of 12th question of last verse is a basis for this question to say that you said that, give details of that. Don't just say that it divides. Give me the details as to how it is dividing, how it is sustaining this particular body, so to say. And how does he go? Means I am seeing this prana doesn't stay for long. It stays for some time and the people are dying and it leaves away. So if it is that particular prana that you are talking of, a high samashti sukshma sarira, how is it leaving this body and going? He wants to know that as how does he leave? And how does he support the external things and things related to the body within? So where...
Excuse me. When you said Jayate, first you said, how is it born, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so then you're already saying, how does it leave? So are we discussing both at the same time?
Different questions are being asked by him.
Okay.
The
okay.
student is asking so many questions, not one question. It's related to one, but he's splitting that so that the Pipalada can answer him in detail. If he simply says, what is prana, different question may come. He wants specifics now. Okay, you say prana is this so and so. Where is it getting born? How it is dividing itself and sustaining this body, and how it is going away. And since you said prana is the substratum for the 3 worlds, in 13th verse he told that prana is the substratum for all 3. Means it is not only sustaining individually me, but there is a samashti aspect which we said is it. So in a way, like Krishna, Pipalada is prompting the children, the students to ask the next question, so to say. Yeah. So is that because he said that, he is telling that this is Utkramate, Bahyam, external things outside. Katham Bahyam Abhidatte. How it is supporting external things. You told it is 3 words are sustained. How is it sustaining externally? And also you said internally. So I must understand how this prana works outside and also Adhyatmam. Adhyatmam is inside. So inside me, how it is working, outside, how it is taking care. So he wants to know a lot of things which are unsaid in question 2. Question 2 is more of a reverence for prana. There is a devotion aspect associated with the prana. A person who has control over the mind, so to say, means emotions no longer run that particular student, and a person who has completed that or conquered the karma yoga aspects of the Veda, he is not bound by emotions. So the word that the term that is used is Kaushalya. Kaushalya is the name of the student. Gurudev says it is name of the student. Ashwala means he is the son of Ashwala Ruchi. So it becomes Ashwala. Ashwala, see, Raghu, Raghava. When that A comes in the second this one, it says the second generation that we are talking about. Yeah. So here we are telling Ashwala is some Rishi was there, and this Ashwala Rishi has got a son, let us say, and that becomes son of Ashwala. Yeah. So in Kaivalya Upanishad, there is a student by the name of Ashwala.
Oh.
And there he also asks that Rishi, always our Upanishads are all in dialogue form. Yeah. So Ashwala in Kaivalya Upanishad asks about prana again. So his son appears to be here in this continuing asking for this one again. But doesn't matter whether it is same Ashvala, we don't. So that's only a speculation. So we can leave that alone. But Ashvala is a term that is used where great rishis are available in different Upanishads as such. So that particular person's son or that clan of this one, maybe he is asking this particular question, is how we can say. Yeah.
Whose name
Ashwa,
is
huh?
Whose name
is Kaushalya. Yeah, Kaushalya is his name, and he is son of Ashwala. Yeah. So Ashwa, very famous Ashwa significance is Bhagavad Gita, Krishna holding the 4 horses. What do we say those horses indicate? Yes. So these senses which are there inside is nothing but your mind, which is represented by these 5 senses, are controlled through this range. Senses like lens control is there associated. So Ashwalayana, so one who already conquered that particular senses is the one that is. So he has already overcome the question 2. This particular student, by being named as son of Ashwalayana, he is already has got a control over this. And Kaushalya name actually comes in Ramayana also. Yeah. So the indication of that Kaushalya is nothing but Kushala Karma. Means the one who has already done your Karma Kanda is over, or Karma Kanda, not only Karma Kanda, Karma Yoga is already done, and such a person becomes a Kaushalya. Kaushalya is always he can do Kushala Karma. That is a fine, subtle understanding of the world, and he can go about this particular world in a better way. Becomes Kaushalya.
That's
How easily they name and,
Is that why
when the kid
Kaushalya
is
was
born,
named
so
Rama's mother?
easily they
Yes,
give all
Rama's
these
mother has
names.
got that significance. Such a Kaushalya.
Who knows, maybe they change later.
Okay, that's
We
amazing.
give the name with the aspiration that you
I
will
know.
become.
I know.
So
Correct.
Vinayak, I hope you will become Vinayak.
That is true.
If it was that easy, right?
Not only that, so that we don't scold them by
I know.
taking
You're saying
You're
Bhagwan
saying
ka
the
naam.
name,
Whenever
yeah.
somebody told me this, yeah,
That is
you
what it
always,
is.
that's why I named both mine after Bhagwan.
So
That's
that's you.
you're
Yeah.
remembering all the time.
Yeah. So this Kaushalya is a very term that it says that he is an advanced state of sadhana, becomes a Kaushalya. So such a Kaushalya, Rama is born. That is the significance of that particular this one. So here, Kaushalya is a person who has already certain established level of practice in terms of karma kanda. So he becomes the person who is asking this question about the prana and the levels of prana, how it operates in this individually, how it operates at a samashti level. Yeah. So this is how the question is being asked. Gurudev says that a person who is operating at an intellect level, who has trying to overcome the mind, emotions, etc. Intellect has got a very specific role to play in human life, which is causation hunting. We want to know the cause of everything. So the term using exactly by Gurudev is causation hunting. This causation hunting is the main preoccupation of the intellect, he says. Anything that we say, why, where this has come? We see a car, we are not happy with the car. Where this came from? Who is the make? Who is the maker? So we would like to know the cause of everything that we are seeing around once you start operating at level. A person who is operating at a lower level of a mind or a prana or gross is a different type of a person. He will or she will get carried away by the emotions. A person who is there. But a person who is trying to overcome that particular intellect, causation hunting becomes a prerequisite for such a person is what Gurudev is trying to hint here in his commentary. So here, a person was told that prana is such and such a huge thing. He is not yasti, he is samashti, he is everything. You can say very happy with that and start praising and praying to prana. But a person who is doing in the sadhana marga, he is not happy with that. He says, okay. Now hold back. Now tell me what is the cause of this prana. Yeah. Master is also very keen to have such students. And there is something called adhikari in terms of our giving of this knowledge. There's something called an adhikari. And any book that is written or any book that is given normally also defines who is the adhikari for this particular knowledge, who will gain. Book is not really book printing, but anything that knowledge that is being given, there's an adhikari that is associated with every text. Like a third standard chemistry book will say that you should have passed your second standard for you to read this particular third standard chemistry book. Chemistry does with level different level example. So this the Vedic master will always see whether a student who has come in front of him is capable of receiving this knowledge or not. So we have seen in this particular text itself, in the first question before, as an introduction, the first two verses, when these 6 or 7 people who came there, 6 students who came, the Guru said, you stay here for 1 year and you be with here and do your brahmacharya, tapas brahmacharya, etc. Maintain that lifestyle and you be here. Means Guru is trying to see whether these students are, what is their capacity, whether they have adhikaratvam in terms of receiving this knowledge or not. And other word which is used at every beginning of the question, so Guru knows already that this is the level of the student. They are able to receive this knowledge at the level which I am going to give to them. And then only he gives them that knowledge. That is an inbuilt. It doesn't say that, but it is there. So the way Guru answers actually indicates that adhikaratvam aspect is indicated in the way the Guru will answer from now onwards. Okay. So he's telling verse 2. Tasmai sahovacha tip prashnan prashyasi brahmishto siti tasmate ham bravimi. So here he is trying to now praise the student a bit. He is prepping up them a bit to gain this more and more subtle knowledge, so to say. So to him, that means Kaushalya Ashwalayana. Remember, Kaushalya Ashwalayana is the student who is there. To him, Tasmai. Tasmai means to him. Who is telling he? Sahovacha. Sahovacha. So, who is the Rishi here? Pippalada Maharshi said, Prapacha is, the Uvacha is, he is telling them. He is telling them. You ask more difficult questions. The Prashnam Praschasi means you are more and more difficult question you are asking me. Yeah. So he is happy.
Indirectly praising.
Indirectly praising. So the idea of difficulty, one must understand what Gurudev is telling is, once it becomes beyond your intellect, if the question is with respect to mind and body individually, it is easy. Anything beyond the intellect or intellect itself, it cannot be grasped by the mind. You have to use a certain subtler tools for you to understand these concepts which are beyond. So causal body, when we are talking about, for example, when we say 3 gunas or ignorance, avidya, you name it anyway in terms of our vasanas, causal body is defined as all these terms. But none of them can be really grasped with your mind. Like I grasp the knowledge of a book, knowledge of a computer, knowledge of any object outside is through a different pramana. I mentioned that in one of the class, Manojji asked that particular question. I said, Veda is the only pramana for understanding the concept of Brahman. And it is the only single pramana. Swatantra pramana, individual pramana is only Veda. You can have all other pramanas as a supporting. Supporting pramanas are the pramana is the understanding concept as such in terms of, for example, if I want to know what color, what texture, what this color and form, eye is the only pramana. I cannot see it with ear and decide that. So these are swatantra pramana. For a taste, tongue is the swatantra pramana. Like that, we must accept that Veda is the only Swatantra Pramana for understanding these transcendental aspects. If Veda tells me that is the truth, that is the Shraddha. We define Shraddha. Shraddha normally say, in our this one, we say Shraddha means what? Till I myself gain that wisdom, I accept the knowledge of the Shastra and the Guru. That becomes Shraddha for us. Faith is not blind. What in our this one's Shraddha is that our understanding that this particular Guru, what he is telling is reliable. He doesn't have any selfish motives in trying to push me into this path. And whether what he is telling or Shastras that are telling are the correct. But real Shraddha definition is to accept Veda as an independent Pramana. Swatantra Pramana is the Shraddha. So here we are telling again this Brahmanishta, whatever we are telling, any transcendental matter which is there can be understood only with that type of a knowledge. So why we call Vedas as knowledge? Because that knowledge becomes a Pramana for me, Swatantra Pramana. I can have, it should not be against my experience. It should not be against my logic. So that Yukti and Anubhuti, I mentioned, they cannot be Swatantra Pramanas. Because like I said, I is a Swatantra Pramana, but I cannot 100% rely on it. Sometimes optical illusions are there. I am telling that it is sun rises from the east, it goes into west. Actually, nothing is rising, nothing is going. But my Pramana continues to say that. My eye Pramana continues to say that despite the knowledge, every day I enjoy the sunrise. When I come down to my kitchen is east facing. So every day I see that sunrise, very beautiful sunrise. So, but that doesn't mean that I accept the sunrise as a reality. Similarly, Veda should also be interpreted correctly. For that, I use Yukti and Anubhuti. But Veda by itself becomes the Swatantra Pramana. How do I understand this transcendental knowledge associated? By using such knowledge, which is given by Rishis. Yeah, but we say that Veda did not come from any Rishi, it's Apaurushi. There's a different concept as such. Yeah? It came through a Rishi, but did not come from a Rishi. Yeah? So we do accept Rishi's role like a original Guru, so to say, but really speaking, it came only through him, not really from him. Anyway, so here he says, because it is touching that transcendental aspects, where did prana come from? How problem? Because prana, as far as description in question 2, all related to it is not part of the senses, it is not part of the mind, but it pervades the mind. My experience is still within me. When I say it pervades the mind, I know my mind is sentient. I may not know how that came, but I know my mind is sentient. It is part of my experience. But here, question is going beyond the experience. So it becomes a transcendental question. Gurudev says in this one, touching the transcendental matter becomes more difficult question. So when Pippalada says you are asking more difficult question, means to say that now you must leave your experiential aspects, your Yukti Anubhuti, you leave it. Now we have to depend on the Swatantra Pramana of Veda only. In a way, he is indicating that. But to understand that, what type of attitude is required is that particular aspect already gone through that Karma Yoga. He has already gained some control over his mind and emotions. So he becomes son of Ashvalayana and he is the Kaushalya. So Kushala Karma is already known to this particular person. So he says, since you are Brahmanishta, Brahmashti, because you are supremely devoted to the Brahman. Brahmanishta is one who is devoted to the Brahman. Yeah. See, so I will tell you this. Because you are that, I am going to tell you this particular. He is telling that because he has already seen him. For 1 year, he has seen the student. He has observed the nature. Yeah. So he is fully aware of the qualification of that particular student. And that is the reason he is able to give that particular knowledge.
What
So
does
it-
sentient mean? Sentient means
Sentiency
living?
is life. You can put this the feeling of life becomes sentiency. Okay, we will take up the verse 3 in the next class where the actual teaching will start. Yeah? And it is a very, very shocking one, which he actually comes out with. Till question 2, prana is given the highest pedestal. Now prana is being told as mithya. He comes out and says that. And that is the reason why he says that I need a student who can get to that level, cross that level. I cannot give this knowledge to everybody, anybody. But anybody in the lower level operating at the mind and the body, prana is this one. You have devoted pujas every day. You can organize everything associated with that. But once questions start coming as to why this prana should be this, why should I have devotion? Because the Shastras are telling Aham Brahmasmi. So why should I be devoted to somebody? If that questions start coming in, you require a different level of attitude. The shocking revelation will be given in verse 3. Okay, we will take it up in this class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
When we do that Shraddha